Wham! Talk 1600. You're catching the drift. Conservative talk. Intelligent conversations on local, state, and national issues with Gary Wellings, chief editor of the Current newspaper and Current Online. Join in the conversation at 734-822-1600. And now, your host, Gary Wellings.
And good Saturday afternoon. Thanks for tuning in to Catch My Drift. Joining me in studio. Oh, no, not yet. Anyway, it's good to have you aboard, and let's take care of a little business before we get into the meat of the show. We're going to be talking to Jimmy Schiel, who's at the State of Michigan Delegate Convention, and Jimmy's going to have some updates for us. So, Jimmy, hang tight. We're going to be with you in a minute. And there he is, Brandon Drake. Look at you. Good to see you, man. Okay, let's take care of a little business. Our sponsor this half hour, J&M Landscaping, 248-640-7029. Jason does a great job. I assure you, first-hand experience. Jason took a big, gnarly tree in my backyard down just this last, before winter really hit. And you know what? The attention to detail is everything. Number one, he's licensed and insured and all that good stuff, so you can feel safe about getting it down and not having an issue. But the way these guys cleaned up, it was amazing. It was like I never had a tree in my backyard. It was just the most amazing thing. So Jason and the guys do a really good job. You can reach them at 248-640-7029, or you can go to JandMlandscapingMI.com, JandMlandscapingMichigan.com, and check them out. So great company. They also do landscaping services, the tree removal, the tree trimming, lawn care, you name it, they've got it, and good guys. So 248-640-7029. Well, dude, we're going to talk about delegates.
Oh, great. Then the circle of crap will be complete.
The circle of life,
yes,
shall we say. Well, let's bring Jimmy on board because he's in the middle of things up there in Lansing. Jimmy, welcome to the show.
Well, actually, I just got home about half an hour ago.
And you survived?
Oh, absolutely, of course. They can't kill me.
Well, I tell you what, your email to me earlier today left me a little upset and flustered. You want to give us a little rundown on the selection? Is there some funny game playing? What's going on up there?
Fun and games it wasn't any fun and games. It was just a flat out, we're stealing it. There's nothing you can do about it. Your vote doesn't matter. We wasted all of your taxpayer money on this primary. Screw you.
The circle of crap.
That's what it was.
Yeah, right.
That's flat out what it was.
So, Jimmy, do you have a list of names that you can send me? Because if they think they can get away with a bunch of stuff, Gary is going to put them on the front page of the newspaper.
Gary is going to name names.
Gary, put Brian Talley at the very top of that list.
Oh, Brian Talley.
Let me tell you what happened today, and then we can get into the caucus from last night if you'd like to.
Yeah, go ahead.
But anyway, what happened today is, they have their opening ceremony, and the governor finally showed up to one of these and talked to us. Anyway, that doesn't even matter. Then they decide to vote on their slate of delegates and alternates at large. Now, these are people that are committed on the first ballot. So some of them have to be for Trump, some of them have to be for Cruz, some of them have to be for Kasich, because that's the way our delegates were apportioned. And I have no problem with that. But the problem is that this slate of delegates was picked by 11 people on the Michigan Republican Committee in some room somewhere, and there's 168 members. So there was no real quorum or nothing. They just put this slate together. They brought it to us, and they had a vote on it. And, a motion was brought to the floor, seconded, and they voted on it. Well, the nays threw it out, but they passed it anyway.
Really? So even though the 168 people that showed up voted no, they went ahead and accepted it anyways?
No, I'm talking about the way that they created the slate was totally wrong. There's 168 members of the state. The state has every right to put a slate together. They have every right to do that. But 11 people from this body of 168 created the slate. And then they brought the slate to the full convention, which there was probably, somewhere in the neighborhood of 1,200 people that have to approve this. Well, it was voted down, and they just carried the motion anyway. Kelly just rapped his little gavel and said, "Motion carries." And Dave Agma and myself and several other people in the room moved to challenge. And Dave, I guess, went right up there. I didn't really see what was going on, but I was sitting back there, and I heard something going on, and I was saying, "Support, support." And they said, "Well, we don't hear any support, so that's the way it is." And that was the end of it. It was just that simple.
So this group of 11 picked the slate. Even though you guys said no to it, they went ahead and passed it anyways.
Yep.
Okay.
And then when we challenged, because and what the challenge would have meant is that they would have had to have done a head count. We'd have had to, show hands. The tellers would have had to have gone around, counted every single person. It would have taken some time. They probably would have done it by district, whatever. But so what? We got all day.
Yeah.
And what's the difference?
And so for right now, Jimmy, what we've got is the fact that there's a slate that's been handpicked by 11 people. We don't know whose allegiances those particular delegates that are going to the national convention.
No, we know. I mean, I'll get you this. I'll get you a copy of all of that eventually here. But yeah, we know. We can look them up. We can find out what they're up to. And we know anyway. I mean, you walk around and talk to the people, and people know who a lot of these people are, and they know what's going on.
For
Kasich.
So Jimmy, they're for who?
They stacked it for Kasich. They stacked it.
Kasich, who is number 3 in our state, is going to get the second round picks. So, and I'm telling you, this is what I've been saying on Facebook, and we've got Cruz supporters who call the show, and I'm friends with Cruz supporters. Cruz is going to get screwed just as badly as Trump in this, isn't he?
Too.
Yeah,
they got ripped off too.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
I've been saying this for weeks now, that this whole thing that the establishment's kind of cozying up to Cruz is a big farce. And I can tell you what, if Kasich ends up being the nominee, screw you Republicans, I'm done. You will not get another dime from me. You will not get a vote from me. I'll vote for Bernie before I vote for John Kasich. How's that?
Feel the burn.
Feel the burn. Because you know what? I'm not voting for John Kasich. If the Republican Party screws me, and I'm taking this personally, if you screw me and force that piece of garbage, John Kasich, down my throat, I'm not voting for him. I'm going to go third party, Constitution Party, Trump, whoever.
They did. It doesn't matter. They screwed you out of your taxpayer money for having the primary. They screwed the delegates. They screwed their own person, Dave Agma, and they screwed the entire convention. It was just the whole thing was a farce.
Yeah, I got to say this. Between Trump and Cruz, I think they've got 80% of the support of the people of this country, or at least of the Republicans who are voting. It's either Trump or Cruz. And if it's not one of those two guys at the convention, the hell with the GOP. I'm done with it. I will not support some schlep rock that they stick in, like by John Kasich. That's not going to happen to me.
Well, the Trump supporters were overwhelming of the delegation that was up there, the guests, the alternates. The Trump people were very overwhelming. There was more than 60% of the people were wearing Trump paraphernalia, carrying his signs, whatever. And then you had Cruz was second, and I don't think I saw one single Kasich person there, not one.
Yeah.
But they were there. They were the ones running the meeting. They had the microphone, and the thing is this, because we were saying, well, wait a minute, point of parliamentary procedure, we brought a challenge, which is a motion. You're supposed to announce the motion and ask for support. You won't even do that. The parliamentarian should have come over and said, yeah, that's right, there's a procedural question here. And no, they didn't do any of it. They were hearing none of it. Absolutely none of it.
Yeah,
they just did whatever they wanted. And I can't believe we didn't turn and walk out. Now, the only reason that they didn't, the only reason that the delegates didn't walk out is because they wanted to elect Rob Steele and Kathy Breen to the committee, the national committee, which we did. Rob Steele is now our new committee man. You know, we give them a round of applause for that. And Kathy Breen, two really good, awesome people.
And who do they support, Jimmy? Just off the top of your head, do you know if they're Trump Cruz guys?
As far as I think, Rob Steele's kind of leans toward Cruz, but that is not the point. He's not going to be a delegate. He's going to the RNC. So he's not a delegate in the national convention or anything like that. Right.
So the gist of it is this. We're sending our delegates from Michigan to the national convention, and they will, on the first ballot, do what they're supposed to, hopefully. And then
they have to. They have to, because it's a 5-year. I found out it's actually a 5-year felony in the state of Michigan if you don't vote the way you are pledged on the first ballot.
Okay, but on the second, legally, they can change, but they're all going to change to Kasich, you think, on the second ballot?
Well, the overwhelming majority of them will, yes.
Okay, all right.
Now, there's some, we got a few, I mean, they threw us a few crumbs, come on.
Yeah.
They can't if they completely steal it, then it would have turned into it did turn into a total madhouse anyway. And then, get this. This is what really killed me today. Because this is what should have happened with the slate. They have two issues, these resolutions, and they're stupid. They're no-brainers. They should have been done by voice acclamation. One was to support the State of Israel. The other, to support the 10th Amendment. Both of those are going to pass. Come on, that's mom apple pie and hot dogs, for crying out loud. Nobody's going to vote against that. What are you, stupid?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and they went from district to district and counted everybody's hand and made the tellers do the way they're supposed to.
So the most important thing they ignore.
They could act like they were doing something correct.
Yeah. Okay, well, hang tight, Jimmy. Derek, put him on hold. Jimmy, don't go anywhere. We're going to have more questions.
Let me say this real quick.
Yeah.
I'm paraphrasing from a great movie. Gary, Jimmy, you effed up. You trusted us. My advice to you, drink heavily.
Let's bring Ed in. Jimmy, don't go anywhere. Let's bring in Ed from Ypsilanti. Ed, go ahead.
Hey, man, I was listening to this, and I'm totally outraged. Totally outraged.
Well, you should be. Why wouldn't you be? Because your guy's going to get screwed as well, right?
But, to find out Kasich, where did this come from? Now, I have to ask a totally political question here. Okay, you know how I feel about Trump and Cruz. But just totally political. What do we think these Kasich guys will do when Kasich doesn't get it? Which way will they swing then?
Well, I guess that's the point I think Jimmy's making. If they've done this in every other state in the union, and then on the second ballot, some states have different rules. I'm sure second ballot in some states they still have to support whoever. I don't know. I'm not an expert. But if they're going to pick somebody, a Kasich or whoever, and you remember what Ryan Spreaker said the other day when he was on the Sunday talk shows. He said the candidate is going to be somebody who is currently running. Well, there you go. Is it going to be Trump or Cruz? Maybe, maybe not. Could it be Kasich still? Absolutely. Even though he's third and has little to no delegates, he could be the second or third round guy. You won't be outraged? Tell me you're going to be outraged, Ed, if it's not Trump or Cruz. Ed?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
I'm sorry, yeah, I'm sorry. I thought I was talking over somebody. I didn't want to be rude. But the way I figured it was all along that Republican delegates would be diehards, and they would not be for Trump, being that they would be recent. The Trump movement is recent, and delegates have to have been active in the last election, right? So I'm surprised at the Trump activity among delegates. I would have expected them to be more old school say.
Well, because you know what? You can only kick people in the face for so long, and the Republican Party has kicked even Republican hardcore people in the face for decades now. I mean, come on, we give us the House and we'll fix things. No, give us the Senate and we'll fix things. No, now give us a president and we'll fix things. No, they aren't. They're all liars. What the heck has the Conservative Party done for me? They've done nothing for me. So anyone that